In a move that appears to have been meant to add more fuel to fire, the United States has pushed forward a controversial move to transfer its embassy to Jerusalem al-Quds. The transfer that US President Donald Trump has previously announced would take place in 2019 will now proceed this May. And this has already triggered angry reactions from the Palestinians that had already warned the move would undermine Washington's role as a mediator. Other countries like Turkey have also described America's plan to speed up the transfer of its embassy to Jerusalem al-Quds as worrying. What is now specifically making the move even more controversial is its timing, which apparently has been designed to coincide with the 70th anniversary of Israel's founding. This is already being seen by the world as a deliberate move on the part of the Americans to undermine the Palestinians.
Well, it seems that the American President Trump is treating the Palestinian people with complete contempt. It seems that he's surrounded by a group of pro-Israeli advisors in the form of his son-in-law, his main advisor. So these are Jared Kushner, Jason Greenblatt, and an American ambassador he's appointed to the post in Tel Aviv. They seem to have convinced Trump that do this as early as possible. Maybe they feel they're in a race against time just in case the president is somehow impeached. So they want to get this done as soon as possible. But to do it on the 70th anniversary of the Palestinian catastrophe of the Nakba shows complete contempt for the Palestinians, if not a sense of hatred.
Trump provoked global anger when he announced in December that Washington recognizes Jerusalem al-Quds as the capital of Israel. The move had been promised by previous US presidents as well, but none had delivered on it due to its politically charged symbolism. Trump, in his latest remarks in defense of his Jerusalem move, says the previous presidents had lied to the Americans because they had campaigned on it, but critics say he is deliberately circumventing the peace talks between the Israelis and the Palestinians. This is specifically because Jerusalem's status was to be one of the topics for negotiation in the talks. And with that, many believe America's initiative to broker peace between the two is already dead. Trump's decision over US embassy transfer turned the heat up in tensions between the Israelis and the Palestinians. The move is also believed to have angered Arab political and religious leaders across the Middle East and has even dismayed America's European allies. Palestinian political leaders now say the only way to move forward is to proceed with the proposal set by President Mahmoud Abbas. The proposal calls for holding an international conference to devise a whole new mechanism for the peace process.
From the beginning, this is almost a non-starter because we are now at the end of February and within 4 months, the chances of a conference happening that the Americans will come to and the Israelis will come to, in my view, is next to nothing. So why did he make that announcement? Why didn't he say that they want to work towards this rather than set a deadline which will be surpassed? And the reality is, if that conference took place, whatever decisions it makes have to go back to the United Nations Security Council, and at that point, the Americans will veto it anyway. So really, the Palestinians need to take stock, redevelop their strategy, and see how they can raise the cost of the occupation to the Israelis, because that is, in my view, the only thing that will bring the Israelis back to their senses and perhaps lead to some form of negotiation starting that could be serious.
America's leadership under President Trump has already made it known to the world through its pro-Israeli moves how it favors the Israelis against the Palestinians. This is already stoking tensions in the region and is even believed to be responsible for the recent surge in deaths of Palestinians by Israeli security forces. Washington at the current juncture appears to be without any pragmatic options toward the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, and that has clearly plunged the fate of peace between the two into a valley of despair and uncertainty.